Hey guys, good morning. I know I look like I just woke up because I did just wake up. Um, okay, so yeah, doing remembering 9/11 20 years ago. I think anybody that's above a certain age is going to remember exactly where they were 20 years ago. Let's see. I'm going to remember where I was, and so at that time 20 years ago, I was 25 years old, and I had only been to New York City, I think, 2 times in my entire life. So I didn't know New York City very well. And 20 years ago, 20 years ago right now, exactly, I was in New York City. I was on my way to Port Authority to catch a bus. So, yeah, I know you can't really see this because 20 years has faded it. But this is my ticket from Greyhound. I had hardly ever been to New York City. I passed through it 2 times before. And I just happened to be there on 9/11. This ticket says September 7th is when I went from Syracuse to New York City. And my return date to Syracuse was September 11th at 10 a.m. So right now, 20 years ago, I was on the subway going to Port Authority. And my recollection, on the subway, I heard people talking about a plane crashing. And, I know some of you already know the story because I usually tell it. I told it last year on 9/11. But it's been 20 years, so I want to tell it again. So I remember people talking about a plane crash, and to me, I thought they were talking about the singer. Oh, of course, my camera's not going to work. Let's hope it doesn't keep doing that. The singer Aaliyah had died in a car accident, or a plane accident. Sorry, I'm watching the screen over here do weird things. Yeah, sorry about that. So sorry, it's early for me. Yeah, Aaliyah died in a plane accident, and and it wasn't too long before this, so I thought that's what they were talking about. And then I got off on the subway at my wherever Port Authority was. I think around 42nd. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 34th. I forget. So I get off, and I remember hearing people telling a police officer on the corner about a plane. I hear it again, and I'm just passing. I'm trying to get to my destination so I don't miss my bus. And I was there for a few days visiting my friend, and The police officer kind of looked unconcerned, like they didn't know what he was talking about. I don't know. And then when I went into Port Authority, there was a TV on the wall, and there was a small crowd of people watching it. And as I was going in, I see the towers, and they're hit. There's smoke coming out. And I was like, wow, that's not far from where I am. That's right here. So now I know what they were talking about with the plane. And I went down some stairs to where my gate was to get my bus. And I was in the right place. And then they said, no buses will be coming in or out. No buses will be, we're going to be on a delay for another hour. So I was like, oh, another hour. Okay. So I had my backpack on, and I sat down there. We didn't have smartphones back then. I had a Sprint flip phone. And they said, so then, shortly after, just a couple minutes after announcing that it was going to be an hour delay, they announced that it was going to actually be at least 24 hours before they would let any buses go in or out of the city. So at this point, I still didn't understand what was going on. And now I was like, oh, wow. So I guess no reason to be here anymore. So I got up and started walking. I had no destination. I had nowhere to go. And I didn't know the city. I only knew the one person at the city. She was my girlfriend at the time. And so I started walking back up the stairs. I remember a lady next to me. I think she was on her phone. And maybe she wasn't on the phone, but she was saying that the Pentagon got hit. And it was at that point that I understood what was going on, and I understood I was in like the city where this was happening. And I went outside of the building onto the street, and I opened my phone. I was trying to make a phone call, and it didn't go through. I couldn't get through. So as I'm looking at my phone, I look up and I see around me people all over me looking at their phone, like their phones aren't working. Everybody was on the phone that day. So there was a big congestion with the phone companies, and nobody's calls were going through, and you were lucky to get a call to go through. So I couldn't get a call to go through. And just looking around me, it was just like the Twilight Zone. People were either looking at their phone, people were running by, people were panicking, some were crying. So I had no idea what to do. I couldn't call anybody. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know the city. And so yeah, I kind of hung out outside the building for a little bit, and there was a big crowd of people that were out there. And I remember, we were kind of hanging on the Port Authority side, and then some police officers directed us. I know we never heard about this, but this is what they were saying. They directed us across the street because they said they had a bomb threat there at the Port Authority. And so we went across the street, and then I heard over the radios that something was going on at the Empire State Building as well. And this never came out in the news. This is what I was hearing, in person. So we all went across the street. We just kept hanging out there across the street, and I remember still trying to make the phone call and everything, and people were updating of look what was going on. Like the both towers were hit, and so now we knew, we were being attacked. So I was an older lady there that was also talking, and we started talking. I think she was from England, and I mentioned that I couldn't get through on my phone, and she said that she got through on hers, and she offered to let me use her phone to make a phone call. And I tried, and it didn't work. I couldn't get through. So it was like sporadic that people were able to get their phone calls through. And I kept trying mine, and it wasn't working. Um, and then they said one of the towers fell. So I was standing there for a little bit. And then there was no direction, like nobody. I didn't know what to do, because I'm not from there. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anybody to get a hold of. You guys that know me know that I'm always taking pictures and video, recording things. I didn't have my camera with me on that day, and there were no smartphones, so I couldn't use my camera to take pictures of anything. But for a brief moment, I thought about going and buying. They had, for those of you that remember 20 years ago, you could buy a disposable film camera that you would take pictures of, send it in Kodak, they develop your pictures, or take it to a drugstore and they'll do it there. And I was going to buy one of those and go right up to the building and start taking pictures, but I didn't. So yeah, after being there for seemed like forever, the crowd started to disperse, and I started to just, I didn't know, I just walked. I just started walking. I didn't know where to go. There was no Google Maps. So yeah, I was like, just everybody was kind of in a state of panic. It was really, I've never seen New York City like that before. Walking back and forth, and I found a payphone, and I tried to use the payphone. I'm like, okay, this will work. It didn't work. I still couldn't get through. So I walked around for, I think 8 hours. Times Square, I've never seen, like, it was empty. I mean, police were ushering people either across the bridges, or the transit system didn't work anymore. Oh, and also when I was standing out there, I'll never forget this. I saw all the fire trucks go by me, and just sirens on, just hauling by. And I remember sitting there, and I made eye contact with one of the firefighters, who, big muscular guy with his elbow out the window and just looking down, and I made eye contact, and we just looked as they passed. A lot of that happened. I saw some, I guess, college kids, like, filming, so there might be a documentary that they did. But yeah, going through Times Square, it was like a ghost town in the middle of the day. And yeah, people, just, I never experienced people of all over were talking to each other and helping each other. And it was something that I had never experienced before, with just strangers, just everybody, talking to one another. And, if they had, this is what was happening, and I've never seen anything like it again. So it was like this phenomenon. People were coming together from everywhere. So finally my phone did work, and I was able to get a hold of the girl I was dating at the time. And she was going to school at NYU, which I didn't know where that was. I didn't know how to get there from where I was. And we were trying to figure out where I was and how I can get to there. And then I heard an ambulance. I saw an ambulance go by me, and then a few seconds later, I heard an ambulance through her phone, and I was like, "Did an ambulance just go by?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Then I can't be that far." And I ended up finding, we met up, and then we walked for a while, and then we ended up getting back across, because where I saw like all the smoke and everything. You know, I didn't end up using this ticket here, and that's why I still have it. We were staying in Brooklyn. I forget where exactly it was at. Anyway, I was staying in Brooklyn for literally, I couldn't get out of the city for, I think it was, I ended up getting a bus ticket. It was a while. It was like, I think it was another almost 2 weeks that I stayed there before I came home. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was only a week, but I remember watching the news and seeing the smoke coming up from, across where I was staying, and I could literally go and look out the window and see the smoke for days to come. And we did go back in there to get a little bit closer to the ground zero like 2 days later, and I mean, we got pretty close, and I remember the trucks that were there. They were like, they were morgue trucks. Just the feeling the memory that I have being down there when this happened, and the city that it was, I don't know, it was like a very surreal experience. I'll never forget it. And 20 years ago this minute, I was supposed to be on the bus to leave the New York City. I was down there not only visiting but also looking at schools. I was looking at schools to go to, and then I found a school. I ended up having to take a semester off because of what happened, but I ended up moving down to New York City, and I lived there for about 2.5 years after that. So yeah, that's my story. Sorry if I haven't read any of the your comments here in the comment section. Of course, my parents were really worried because they couldn't get a hold of me, and they didn't hear anything from me for 8 hours. And then finally they were able to, I was able to, the phones kind of cleared up after a while. But yeah, the phones didn't work. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And then I just kind of put my phone away so the battery didn't die, and walked and walked and walked. I must have walked back and down Broadway for, so. Anyway, if there's, I think I told you. I think I said everything. Um, Maybe I forgot a few things. I don't know, but I think we all, every one of us, if we're above a certain age, remember exactly where we were when it happened. Oh yeah, my parents were definitely they were definitely worried. They were, I mean, because my mom knows me that I probably would have tried to go take pictures and get closer to document. And that was a time I didn't have a camera on me. I don't know. I always have a camera on me now, but I didn't that day. It's just all up here. But anyway, that's I don't really. It's kind of weird. I woke up exactly when I woke up at 8:46 today and just laid in bed. Haven't got a lot of sleep. That's why obviously I look tired. So I'm gonna go back to sleep for a little bit. Okay. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of questions that I can answer for that day anyway. So I guess that's it for the live stream today, guys. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess just remember that anything can happen. You never know what can happen and change your life or someone else's life. So call somebody you care about. Tell them you care about them. All that good stuff. All right, I'm gonna go now because I don't know what else to say in this stream. So hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.